All right, people, what is going on? This is episode 294 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller, and it is Friday, everyone. Welcome to Friday. You guys made it. The weekend is upon us, and today I got another, wild card free-for-all style show where I'm going to talk about both of our teams, the Georgia Southern Eagles and the Atlanta Falcons, and I try to mix it up on Fridays to end the week on a high note and just a little bit of, just a little mix up or whatever the case may be. Hopefully you guys will enjoy. And everyone who has been enjoying the podcast, I really thank you guys. I cannot thank you guys enough. Thank you for the support. All the, the viewership, the listenership is up. It's just been phenomenal. I really, really appreciate it. Today, we're going to talk about year 2 of Coach Arthur Smith, the coach of Atlanta Falcons. What should we expect, to be honest with you? Because we talk about a few things, but we really haven't dialed into that. So we're going to talk about that for a moment. And also, we're going to talk about Georgia Southern running game. It's going to be revamped. It's not going to be what we known in the past. And, Georgia Southern has been known for running the football. But with our new running backs coach, I want to talk a little bit about his accolades. And I think I did this on a video before, but I want to reiterate and talk about that. Also, I want to let you guys know my opinion on what it means for this possibly high-powered offense going forward for the first-year coach Helton and company. So I think it's going to be a pretty exciting episode. If this is your first time here, welcome. Once again, this is the First and Frame Rate Show. I'm VF Baller. I talk about Georgia Southern football and Atlanta Falcons football. I can be listened to here on YouTube or Rumble. If you're on Rumble, you can check me out over there. Also, if you want, you can listen to me on any of the podcast avenues available, which is Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, and Google. You can find me on those platforms. And it's just been a great time. Just join everyone else who's been listening. You could be a part of the show by leaving a comment in the description or leave me some feedback on iTunes by hitting that star chart, or you could just leave me a summary or what's your thoughts and some feedback in the feedback area on Apple iTunes. Also, if you really, really want to support the show, you can hit my the CashApp is at VF Baller, or you can hit the Anchor link down in the description below. All that information is there. All right. Let's go ahead and get into this. Arthur Smith is in his second year as an Atlanta Falcons coach. And I want to say his first season was successful, despite that he only had 7 games that he won. But he did, it was games that we didn't think he was going to win after everything that happened. And I don't want to reiterate the entire time his first, his first year. I want to talk about year 2. What happens in year 2? Does he get better? What happens, because this was his first year on the job as a head coach. And I think he did a pretty good job overall. And I want to say that in year 2, I think things are going to get a little better. He kind of understood what was going on this first year. Usually the second year, you start seeing a little improvement. We kind of saw that with the whole situation with my phone. We start seeing that whole situation with Dan Quinn in year 2. He took the Falcons to the Super Bowl. Now, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that. But you never know. You don't know who may come out and shine at the end of the day when it comes to the following season. But I do feel that he is going to be capable of, having a more of a successful and winning culture when it comes to the Falcons. I think with the draft picks that they have, I think the first 4 picks they have are in the top 74. So they can get some really good value, even if they decide to pick at every spot or if they trade back. They have like really high draft capital. I think I heard they got like the 7th or 8th highest draft capital in the draft, according to, I think it was ESPN or Fox Sports or one of them. I can't remember, but I was just reading it briefly. So I think he's going to be able to build this team a little more and in his image. And not only that, I think he'll be able to not only just build the guys up that he brings in as far as, the draft picks, but bring free agents in who can identify with the culture of what he wants the team to be. And those 7 wins that they had could possibly jump to 10, maybe 11. I think he's capable of doing so. But you have to start getting guys here who really just want to play. I mean, no disrespect to our wide receivers, but our two best wide receivers did not want to play for this coach. Whether it just be money or, like people want to say it's a mental health issue or whatever the case may be. I don't know the full extent of either one of those guys, but they didn't want to play for Arthur Smith. And I don't think that makes Arthur Smith a bad coach. I think it's just a change of culture to some people that didn't really want to, go along with that. I think, Ricardo Allen, he just recently retired. I think he kind of said something of that nature. I don't think it was, straightforward, but I think it was somewhat of that nature where he wanted to go to a team that wasn't trying to start over. And you got to respect some of these guys' opinions. But when I look at Coach Smith and I see what he's trying to do, if he can get a couple more guys who can really come in and contribute, and I think he has the playbook. I think he has the defensive coordinator. I think he will be able to implement his game plan to the way that he wants to, and I think they'll be able to win some games. I think realistically, we'll probably end up having like a 7 or 8 win season again this year. That's realistically, but my gut feeling is nothing wrong with exceeding those no realistic expectations, and I think they'll be able to, because of the fact that, like I said earlier, he will be able to implement his game plan. Overall, I think he's a pretty cool coach. I really like what I like what he does as far as iron talent. I also like what he does with holding, players accountable and keep them in line as far as not falling off and not having confidence in themselves. Because I think, I'm going to back up for a second. No, I'm going to keep going with that, but I want to talk about that. I think one of the things that nobody really talks about is the coaching that he did of Jalen Mayfield. I don't think nobody really talks about that enough, but I feel that he did a pretty good job when it came to Jalen Mayfield. I mean, Jalen Mayfield could have been one of these guys that was just never going to get it together, was always going to be pretty average or below average, and at best when he goes into his prime. But after this first season, you saw him catch on the second half. He started to do a little bit better. And I think he can end up being one of the top guards, if not right tackles, in the league by year 4, year 5. Because you just saw the progression, how far he came from from week 1 to week 17. Now, I'm not saying he played phenomenal or played great, but based on what it was in week 1, you almost seen a totally different player on the offensive line. And I think that's something that's definitely accredited to a guy like Arthur Smith. And then you can look at what he's done to other players on the team, the way that he was able to get, Kyle Pitts involved with his talent, how well he's done with him and other players. And I want to talk mostly offense because he's an offensive-minded guy. I mean, I don't know how much he does with the defense. I think he called the plays for the Falcons, while they were playing. So, throughout the season. So when you look at those type of guys, I think, the main thing is the offensive line. And I think that's something that needs to be addressed sometime down the road. But I love what he did with Jalen Mayfield. I also like, to be honest, another thing, I like what he did with the wide receiver staff. The guys that in wide receiver, he made sure to keep these guys in position to actually be somewhat successful. Because even though that we didn't have a number 1, or in some cases, some people may say we didn't have a number 2 either, the wide receivers themselves actually did better than expected, because, their expectations was pretty low based on what we had. Russell Gage and Zacchaeus, and, you also had Tajay Sharp. You had some guys there that really, overachieved, and that's a good thing. And I just think at the end of the day, this is something that we need to really hang our hats on going into the next season. The next 8 people that you draft, because we got 8 picks. If we decide to draft all 8 players, those guys are going to come in right under those Kyle Pitts and Richie Grants and Jalen Mayfield and Taquan Graham. He's going to come under they're going to come under those guys, and they're going to have to learn the game just like they did. And depends on the talent that we get, we may see something that's really, really phenomenal within the first year and second year guys that made it to the league that was drafted under, Arthur Smith and Terry Fontenot. So I think that's really, really neat. One more thing as far as talent coming in, I think it's Ryan Pace is supposed to be is coming in as the former GM as the Bears. He's going to be looking over, I think a player personnel and scout. I don't know much about him. All I know is if he has an eye for talent, that's cool. But I don't think it's something that, I would, talk at length about. It's cool that they signed him. I think he's a pretty good addition. If you have good football minds, it's always a good addition. And based on what I've seen, he found talent that's pretty good. But then again, he done some things that wasn't really good either, But so, I mean, I don't know how that is, but we'll see how that going forward. But in year two, in year two, I think Coach Arthur Smith is capable of getting double-digit wins, but what is your expectations? I want you guys to let me know what you think about it. Do you think it's going to be another 7 to 8 win team? I think that's the realistic outlook on it, but I think if everything goes well based on how he wants it to be, I think they can win at least 10 and 11 games. But we'll see when that happens. If you like this content, hit the like button, share this video or podcast, subscribe to the video or podcast if you want to. The videos on YouTube and Rumble. My podcast is on Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, and Google, and I'm trying to expand that. So hopefully you guys will continue to listen and share and enjoy it. All right, next topic before we get up out of here, I want to talk about Matt Merritt, the running backs coach, and I want to give you my 2 cents on the running game of Georgia Southern. It's going to be revamped. It's going to be different. It's going to be something that we're not used to at Georgia Southern. We're used to the spread option, flex bone, wishbone, triple option, whatever you want to. That's what we used to run. Then we went to, like I said, the wide, spread option. We started running that, and we saw what happened. Now under Coach Clay Helton, it's going to be different. And for him to bring an assistant, to make Matt Merritt the assistant coach and running backs coach, I want to talk about a little bit about Matt Merritt. And I want to tell you why this running game is going to be revamped with all that talent we got back there. And even picking up a 4-star recruit, all thanks to guys like Coach Clay Helton and Matt Merritt. This is a phenomenal look. So let's talk about this. This is on the gseagles.com website. I'll have the link down in the description so you can check it out. And I'll try to skim through his background. Matt Merritt, who has over a decade of experience in college running backs and the collegiate level, has the same role for Georgia Southern football program. He was at Tennessee prior to this as a senior offensive analyst. He earned a berth. Let's say they went to the Music City Bowl in 2020. The Tennessee Vols running game was 218 yards per game, nearly a 90-yard per game improvement from the season before. So the season before, they was like 118 or 128 or 127 or 126 a game, and it jumped up 90 yards per game. We're playing here in the Sun Belt, and we got the running backs we have now. Man, this offense could be really, really good. Now, before that in 2019, he coached at James Madison, where he put, and on that team ranked 10th nationally. I want to say in the FCS, but that's still really good. 3-4 running backs rotation. They ran a 3 to 4 running back rotation at JMU. I don't know if that's going to translate to Georgia Southern, but because he's a running back coach, I don't know how that'll play out. But that bodes very well for Georgia Southern when we want to run the ball. That bodes very well. They combined over 3,200 yards, 39 total touchdowns. 35 of them came from the ground. So that all 4 running back rotation they had almost had 32 over. They had over 3,200 yards and 39 total touchdowns. 35 of them came on the ground. Ajayi Obese, I don't know if I said that, Obese, running back for JMU, turned the 7th best rushing performance in JMU history. He had 1,216 yards and 19 rushing touchdowns. And Hamilton, which is another running back of theirs, man, that's crazy. He had nearly 1,000 yards. He gained about 919 yards. So they moved up pretty good. So that's going to be really interesting to see what he could do with the Jalen White, what he could do with the J.D. King, what he could do with the Gerald Green and all the other running backs, that Omar Caspi and the other running back that we got from Florida. I cannot get his name right. It just slips my mind right now. But this is what it's about. I cannot wait to see how this plays out when it comes to just having the talent together to see what type of passing game that they're going to have and how they're going to flip that over to the running game, because Clay Helton already said he's going to want to run the ball, but he also want to go over the top and get some touchdowns. That's why Kyle Van Treese is here. That's why you still got Cam Ransom and all the other young guys I talked about in the last episode when I talked about quarterbacks for Georgia Southern. I think that was episode 292. Phenomenal episode. Hopefully you guys will check that out. But I will say at the end of the day, I think this running backs coach and what these running backs that they have, the Jalen Whites of the world, J.D. King, all the ones I just named, I think they're going to be in really good hands. And it's going to be really awesome to see what these guys are going to do. Because I just can't wait. I can't wait to spring practice start in the spring game. I'm going to be there. Absolutely going to be there. And I already got my calendar marked. It is a little bit less than 2 months away. It's February 24th right now. I want to say it's February 25th. I'm sorry. February 25th. So it's less than a month away, 2 months away, where we're going to be seeing spring game. And I'm going to be there. I got my calendar marked. So it's going to be really cool to see what happens with this team. I just can't wait. I'm so excited. That's pretty much going to conclude this episode. The running game is going to be revamped for Georgia Southern. What Coach Smith can do for year 2. I think Coach Smith is going to do really well. I mean, like I said, I think he's going to maintain at least the winning percentage that he had last year. Another 7-10 or 8-9 season, possibly much better. Depends on what happens and how the chips may fall. Also, Matt Merritt. I'm looking at the Google thing. Matt Merritt, the running backs coach for Georgia Southern, is about to revamp this running game. And we got some good running backs to do so with it. I don't see going to see too much of the option run, because I know a lot of people still wanted to see the option after all this time, which I don't mind. I mean, I like to see it. I just don't want it to be our primary. You know, my thing is, I think the more modern offense is the way to go. And if we do run option out of it, I think it'll be phenomenal. But it's something that we're just going to have to work on. And I think with Coach Helton, we may throw a little bit in there, but I firmly believe that it's going to be more of a pro style, aggressive passing, aggressive one back style running back personnel, switching them in and out and getting everybody to have fresh legs. And whoever has the hot hand will ride these games home when they try to run and soften up and make these defenses in the Sun Belt quit late in the fourth quarter, because nobody wants to tackle anymore. So if you like this, like I said, like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. Catch me on Rumble, YouTube if you want to watch, Anchor, Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. You can find me on those avenues if you want to listen at your leisure. And if you subscribe, you'll get you get a notification when I upload an episode. And if you click the auto download tab, which most of these places have that are podcast style, you can get it automatically download to where you don't even have to worry about it you have to worry about downloading it. It'll be ready for you to listen at your leisure. All right, y'all. One more thing before I go. If you want to donate, all the links down in the description, the CashApp and the Anchor link. I'm still working on the PayPal one. Like I said, it should be there by Monday. So hopefully you guys will partake in donating. If not, as long as you're listening, I am definitely fine. But the donations go a long way. So I really appreciate the support. All right, y'all. I will see you guys in the next one. Enjoy your weekend. I know there's no football, but enjoy your weekend. Have fun. Find out some things to do. But that's what I'm going to do. I'll be finding some things to do, and hopefully you can find me probably on my other channel, other YouTube channel. I'll probably be making some content then. All right, y'all. Y'all be easy. Y'all be blessed. Have a great weekend. Peace.